Good evening. This is a public meeting of the Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals for July 10th, 2017. Before we get started, if everyone could check your electronic device, make sure it's turned off, please. And if anybody is here to speak on behalf of a petition that's not registered to speak, before addressing the board, if you could sign in with your name and address. We're going to take the agenda out of order. We're going to start under Section 2 with new business. ZB 2017-28, the petition's a special permit and variance. The applicant is Viewpoint Sign and Awning, property located at 595 Pawtucket Boulevard. The petitioner is seeking a special permit and a variance at 595 Pawtucket Boulevard for the installation of an externally illuminated sign facing a parking area and the installation of an external light strip to an existing sign. The proposed project is in the suburban mixed-use zoning district and requires a variance under section 6.32 18D and special permit approval under section 6.34 and any other relief required for the City of Lowell zoning ordinance. Is there a representative of Viewpoint here? Good evening. If you,
Viewpoint Sign and Awning.
okay, thank you.
Michael Slager with Leahy Hospital Medical Center.
Okay. So we have the application and the set of plans for this petition. So if you could, give us your story of why you're here and what you're seeking, please.
Sure. We're adding a sign in the front of the building under the Global Care sign that is allowed by right. And we're here to add a second sign on the parking side of the building, also under the Global Care sign. And we also want to externally illuminate both of the signs with an LED light bar that is going to match what I believe was approved for the Global Care sign. So everything will be coordinated on the building.
Have you been here before?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Most recently, Tavern in the Square.
Okay, all right. But for this site here, were you here before
No.
for anything? Okay.
No.
Yeah, not that you had to be. I was just curious. All right. So I guess pretty much we have a variance that we're looking at because of the size, and we're also looking at special permits due to illumination. Do you have anything else you want to add besides that? Okay. Yep. All right. So what I'm going to do is open it up to the public at this point, and then we'll move it to the board. You might want to just stay there in case there's any questions from the board members. Okay. Is anybody here like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? In favor? Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Anyone like to speak in opposition? 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 Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. I'd like to open up to the board. Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have much of an issue with the project itself. My only question was, do you know what the hours of illumination, the proposed hours of illumination would be for the sign itself? Or?
I think we discussed, I think it was dusk till midnight or 1 a.m., I believe. It wasn't going through the night, which is the global signage that already established a time frame for illumination. We're going to match that time frame.
Okay, so whatever time it would be matching towards whatever other illumination on the building is?
That's correct.
Okay. So, okay. That was my only question. I really have no other issues or concerns with the project. It seems to be very well put, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Mike?
I had the same question, Mr. Chairman. And just to double check, Patrick, do you know? It seems like midnight would be late for the previous sign that we approved, and I don't remember, going back 6 months or whatever, how late. Usually we condition it an hour or so after a business closes, as opposed to having it lit, through midnight or something. Do you recall what we did for the last sign?
I actually don't. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Sorry.
All right. I guess again, I'll hear from other members. I'll just go with the same. If we condition it to be lit and shut off at the same time as the previous agreement, that's fine with me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Van?
I have no comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Dennis?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a couple questions. One of the things that I'd like to understand is a master plan for signage for the building. As we approve these pieces, I just want to know that this is the master plan, or do you see more signage being added to the building at some point?
I don't believe so. I think this is going to be able to cover the occupancy in the building for going forward. That's why we were hoping to get both signs approved, because that'll cover us for any future work that we do in the building.
So is this going to mean the building's fully occupied with these two tenants?
There's a vacant space on the first floor that Leahy has rights to, and the intent is when we fit that space out, this sign will cover the occupancy of that space.
Perfect. Okay. So this is great. So we know what we have here for a full story.
Yep. It's not going to increase.
And it looks good the way it is.
Perfect.
So I'm glad to know that. Okay. No further questions.
Great,
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any further questions either. as we know, this particular site's been before us from beginning to the present, and to Dennis's point, we've entertained some signage there before, and I think Mike's correct. I'm not sure about what we had set, but generally what we do is, when the time of business closes, usually an hour or two for the signage. But it seems to me there was a discussion about the sign that was out there and what the illumination time was going to be. But what time is the last business open there?
I believe we're
I know the building owner generally had come to the meetings. I know he's not here this evening, so.
Yeah, we typically close of business is probably 5 or 6 p.m. So again, what was approved for Dr. Naboo in his area, we'll be willing to match that same time frame.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to have one.
Yeah, so I guess if we can, I guess we'll condition that as far as the hours of illumination, if it can be consistent, Patrick, with what was agreed upon the last time I'll say the site was in here for the illumination, no later than what was agreed upon before, and that should be okay. So as far as, I didn't hear any comments regarding the size, and that's what kicked off the variance requirement. And also, there's no opposition here. I know when I mentioned the parking lot, it was going to oversight the AAA office, and I don't see the AAA representatives here with any issue. I don't think there would be. So I would believe the petitioner has met both the requirements of the special permit and the variance with the material submitted, and with that, so we'll have to take 2 separate votes if we could. So if we could take the vote on the variance first, please.
Chairman Bailey?
Yep.
Chairman Peck, Member Peck, sorry.
So we're going to do the motion.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. I was looking at you like I thought I missed something. Yeah. Okay, Van.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. The matter before us, ZB-2017-28. The petition type of variance, the applicant is viewpoint sign and awning. The property located at 595 Pawtucket Boulevard. The petitioner is seeking a special permit and a variance at 595 Pawtucket Boulevard for the installation of an externally illuminated sign facing a parking area and the installation of an internal light strip to an existing sign. The proposed project is in the suburban mixed-use zoning district and requires a variance under section 6.3.218.d and a special permit approval under section 6.3.4 and any other relief required of the City of Lowell zoning ordinance, with the following condition, with the illumination of the previous sign consistent with the previous hours.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Bailey?
Approved with conditions.
Member Peck?
Approved conditions.
Member Palia?
Approved with conditions.
Member Callahan?
Approval conditions.
Member McCarthy?
Approve with conditions.
Okay, so we'll do the special permit next, and I would just, skip the whole requirement there and just use your own language, what you want to do.
Yeah. Through you, Mr. Chairman, the matter before us, ZB-2017-28, the petition special permit, the applicant viewpoint signs, property located at 595 Pawtucket Boulevard. The petition, as mentioned before, with the following conditions.
Okay, so the condition will only apply to the special permit, correct, Patrick? I know we.
Because the
we read
special
it in
permit's for the
variance.
illumination, so
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. All right, could I have a second, please?
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Bailey?
Approved with conditions.
Member Peck?
Approved with conditions.
Member Palia?
Approved with conditions.
Member Callahan?
Approval conditions.
Member McCarthy?
Approve with conditions.
Okay, gentlemen, been approved. Wish you the best of
Thank you,
luck.
Mr. Chairman, appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving back to the agenda, under section 1, under continuances, this is petition of ZB 2017-25, the petitions of variance. The applicant is Soraya Martins. The property is located at 157 to 159 Andover Street. And the petitioner is seeking parking relief for a property located at 157, 159 Andover Street. The proposed project consists of adding a salon to a two-family residential dwelling in the urban mixed-use zoning district. The project requires a variance under section 6.1 and any other relief required by the City of Lowell zoning ordinance. And before we get started, Member McCarthy was absent at the last meeting on June 12th. And Mr. McCarthy has seen a replay of the proceedings from June 12th and has signed the proper documentation stating as follows that he'll be able to participate in this meeting this evening. So good evening, how are you?
Good evening, how are you? Good evening, Mr.
Good.
Chairman and
Yep.
all the board's member.
So we had you here on June 12th.
Yeah,
And I remember, we discussed quite a few things, and then one of the suggestions we made, if you wanted to do it, was to sit down with the city, the Department of Planning, and see if you could come up with some other ideas for the project. I know we've received a new plot plan with some, about the relief to be sought now, which was dated July 5th. So instead of me talking for hours, I'll let you, bring us up to speed since our last meeting, what you've been working on, and which plans you are proposing this evening. How's that?
okay, we just decide not to do the addition as we was proposing last time.
Yep.
And as we was informed, now we have our proposal is just to keep the pre-existing condition, and which is less than 900 square feet, which, as I was informed, requires just one parking space for the salon. And even I need 4 parking spots for the 2 units that the house, 2 units. And then we did a plot plan with 4 parking spots in the Fort Hill Avenue and 4 parking spots in the Andover Street side. But by the boarding office, he was informed that our no conforming park was not allowed for the city. And even we already know that we have a no conforming parking in almost our neighborhood. But as the board asked, we did another revised on the site plan, just putting, I think you have it, we have now a new site plan just showing 2 parking spots on the Andover Street side. And now we are here asking you to consider all the hardship and everything we already speak in the last meeting. And Yeah, we are asking for the variance for the parkings that we need.
Okay. Uh, I'll ask you just one question just to start. As far as the salon goes, I think we had a discussion about, you wanted to put a salon in there, and then you were talking about having like a little retail space or something, but based on the latest plans that we're talking about, the 900 square feet for the salon, how many chairs are you going to have in the salon for the 900 square feet?
Now, we are thinking about to have like a multi-use, like retail and the beauty salon all together, and around 3 chairs, which will be basically me, my husband, and my son working, and to sell wigs in the same time. We sell wigs and more about sell hair and wigs.
Yeah, because I think one of the thoughts that or discussions we had was if you're going to have 1 chair or 2 chairs, for instance, in the salon, you could probably, and a lot of salons do this, they'll just stage, any of the products that they want to sell right there, probably
Yeah.
over by the register or whatever you set up. So you won't necessarily, I don't think we're necessarily talking about having a retail business in there. We're talking about just the service for the hair cutting, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And as far as employees working in the salon, now I know you just mentioned your husband and your son, but are you going to be performing the hair cutting yourself?
We work more with hair extensions.
Okay.
And
Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah, we don't work with hair cutting, things like
Yeah,
that. More about
So this is more or less kind of a specialty operation.
exactly, yeah,
So you're providing a service, but it's more of a specialty that you're proposing to do.
exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure some of the other members might have some questions. Is there anything else you want to add before we open it up to the public again and then open it to the board?
No, I'm open to ask 2 questions.
Okay. All right. So we're going to open it up to the public. Anyone here like to speak in favor of this project? In favor? In favor? Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Anyone like to speak in opposition? 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 Hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. I'll open it up to the board. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, Ms. Martinez, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to work with the city on these
You're
issues. I
welcome.
know we had a very long discussion at the last meeting,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm happy to see that you took all that information and worked with the city on trying to come up with a plan, because as was standing previously, you had a lot of relief that you were looking for. It appears, based on what we've received with these new plans, I know when you work with the city, you got it down to 2 spaces, and then there's still the 4 on the side that you've gotten rid of, which were non-conforming. And I think my question is on that, what is the plans for that portion of the building? Because I know the city is suggesting strongly that there be some green space put in there so it can prevent any cars going onto that portion. So what are the plans that you have for that space, that area right there behind?
We are open to do everything we asked for.
Okay. So you had a chance to read the comments from the traffic engineer and
Yes, I read the,
you're in agreement with their recommendations?
yes.
Okay, because I would be asking that we adopt that as those conditions, those proposed conditions that the city has asked if the board would grant you the relief. So
Yeah,
that's one of the things I would,
we can do everything
okay,
as we asked for to do.
thank you. Understanding the area and the information you provided us at the last meeting with regards to other businesses in the area and how they're situated, and the fact that you've really worked hard to put this together with the city, and also, I want to see, we want to put new business, make sure the businesses thrive, and put in, I want to see you succeed. I'm somewhat satisfied with the what you've done with the result of this, as long as you're willing to go with those conditions, especially with, I'm concerned about putting green space in that area where the 4 parking spots that you had that you took out.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I really would like to see happen right there, so that's one of the main things, but I'm gonna listen to the rest of my fellow members, but those are my thoughts right there, so I wish you the best of luck, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo what Sean said. I really appreciate you continuing the matter from last month and then meeting with the city to try to work out some of the difficulties with the location and your plans there. It seems like a good compromise. I'm sure you're probably not happy to lose a couple of parking spots, but I think if you can make the salon work in the front of the, you know, in that vacant space, if you still think it will work there, then I wish you the best of luck. And I agree with Sean on the old parking spaces, but I don't know if I want to condition converting that to green space. I think that might cost you a lot of money. You'd have to rip up some of the hot top that's there and create essentially build a lawn there. I think, again, if you're willing to do that, that's fine, but I also don't want it to cost you a lot of money. And if we can just deter people from parking there like they used to by driving over the curb and the sidewalk and actually with cars really parked on the sidewalk, that would be fine with me. But if you're willing to go all the way and actually turn it into a small lawn, certainly that would be fine too.
Actually, the pave is already booked, and we need to do anything anyway. We need to fix it. I don't think that will be an issue.
Okay, then that's fine. We can add that as a condition. I just didn't want it to add any extra burden or cost to what you're trying to do there. You completely renovated the home and the shop, and the building looks great. A lot of the properties in that area don't look so good, and yours does.
Thank you.
And again, if you are willing to do that with the old parking spaces, that's great. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mike. Van?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I also agree with my colleagues. Ms. Martins, I think you did a good job with working with the city, trying to come up with a plan that met your needs and the needs of zoning. As long as you're, all for the proposed conditions from the city and traffic engineering department, I favor this petition. So overall, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I just have a couple of quick questions, but I'm thrilled that corner is not going to have cars backing out onto it, and we're going to get rid of those parking spaces and place them in a more reasonable spot on the site. And you do a great job with the green space that you have, so I can only imagine that corner being filled in with flower beds like you currently have on the rest of the property, so I think that'll look terrific. I think, Patrick, we have a problem with the sidewalk there, though. The sidewalk is not your property, but the sidewalk is in tough shape with the bricks showing through the asphalt. I didn't see anything in the comments about the sidewalk being repaired.
Yeah, I don't have any discussion on that based on the engineering comments. You're talking about on the corner side, closer to the foothill.
On the foothill, that whole sidewalk
The sidewalk is broken, yeah.
is bad,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the bricks look lovely, but they're part of it.
Shoveled and, I don't have any information from the engineer's office, whether it will be fixed. But they did want to deter people from because if you parked in the corner, you'd be overhanging the sidewalk. That was basically the only comments that they had.
Yeah, I just would like to see the city kind of get involved in helping that site where you're doing such a wonderful job with cleaning up that corner with green space.
Oh,
If the sidewalk was also improved, it would be a great thing to just finish it off, because that's what you need there.
Oh, sure.
And you already would gain the 3 spaces. Do you use the 3 spaces on Fort Hill Ave now?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Because I'm not quite sure how you would, so you could back out with the cars parked there on the corner. I guess maybe 2 of those spaces could be still used, right? Okay.
We actually use 3 street parking.
Okay.
We pay for a placard
Right,
sign
right,
for
right.
the city
Yep.
hall already. And my tenants park on the Fort Hill Avenue, and even I do
Okay.
park in the street.
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing that corner beautified, because it's an important, entry point to Fort Hill Ave there, and seeing some green space more than what you already have would be a wonderful thing, I think, so.
Okay,
I look forward to seeing this. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
So I have a couple of questions. And I was going to ask this earlier, but I'm going to ask it now. Who are the tenants that live with you?
My son lives in the first floor with a roommate. He's a college student. My son is a college student, and he has a roommate who lives with him. And I live with my 3 little kids in the second floor.
Yeah.
I live with my husband and my kids.
Right. So you have a 2-family. So when you said tenants, I was just,
Is my son.
right. And in your, you gave us like a write-up. You talked about the property. This was at our first meeting. And you mentioned in your write-up, the address of the property is 157 and 159 Andover Street, right?
Exactly, but even on the tenants is number 4 Fort Hill.
In
We
the
have
same building?
the same building. We have 3 different addresses. Tenants is in the Fort Hill side, and then is number 4 Fort Hill. And my address is 159, and the salon is supposed to be 157, is the commercial part that.
So how was it a 2-family and then, I don't know.
Since I live
That's how
there,
you wrote it up here, and then there was a couple of documents that, nobody ever showed number 4 Fort Hill Ave, so I was kind of confused.
yeah, but since I lived there, I always gave,
Okay.
Yeah, I
me
think it
this
is like a
address.
often in the GIS, there's sub-addresses, and I think, I agree with her. I think that the 4 Fort Hill actually must be the tenant, and then it didn't cross my mind that the 157 must be, because the salon space that she wants it to be is
Oh,
vacant.
okay, I understand what you're saying. Now, 157 is almost like I'm going to call it commercial space, but
Right.
non-residential
Right.
use, I'll call it that. Now, the placket, I'm trying to help you with this. The placket that you currently have with the city, what address is that for?
Number 4 Fort Hill.
Okay, so why can't you get a placket for 159?
I don't know, the city hall just allowed us to get one.
Do you know how the placket system works?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's
I know-
like one
I
per
know-
property or,
I know my friend in the corner might know how it works, but
yeah.
one per building. One per building, but you could have 2 different addresses in one building, huh?
I personally am in the same situation, but mine is a 4-family. And, I
Yeah.
did not use the Vic Street side and then use the Bully side.
Yeah.
I have to plaque on the other,
Okay,
and one per house.
yeah. Which was kind of the discussion we had with Walker Street with placards and what was the other one, permits? What is it, parking permits, stickers? Yeah, okay. Well, like I say, I was trying to see if I could help you out.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have a placket for 4 Fort Hill Ave. All right. So on your plans, we're showing 2 parking spots on that open area on Andover Street. So in the city's comments, and I hope you understand this, you need to open up the street.
Yeah, curbing
You
cut.
have to do the
right?
curb cut? Okay. So I have a question for you, Patrick. In the write-up, it mentions, this is on section C under the commentary, so it's 1C. Can you tell me what they're trying to, either what you're trying to say or you and the city are trying to say in that section C?
So the zoning code requires under 634, or 614, when you have a curb cut, build a curb cut, you need to require for 2 additional spaces because it's, because you're taking away 2 spaces from the street. That's the thought behind requiring it. This Andover Street, though, on that side doesn't actually require, there's not street parking on that side, so it kind of is irrelevant. But it is still, it doesn't specify in the zoning code in those circumstances, so I just wanted to address it.
Yeah, because that's the way I read it, but it didn't make sense to me.
Right.
Then it's like saying you need another 2 on top
Yeah.
of all the other requirements, so.
As I was informed, I think since the parking are not allowed on the Andover Street side, on my side, on the right side, they don't need that, right? If I'm,
I thought there was parking on that side of Andover Street. I have yet to see a no parking sign.
There's 2 lanes. I think people,
Huh? No, I know, but I've seen cars there.
I think people do it, but I don't think it's allowed technically.
No,
Because,
the city should post something.
right. But I think because there's 2 lanes and it would be blocking
Okay.
traffic.
All right, I don't want to, because I thought, I
believe
thought I
it's-
read somewhere where the petitioner talked about parking on Andover Street.
no, at the parking,
Okay,
the parking is just the 2 parking that is in
Yep.
the plot plan. After I do the carbon cut.
yep, okay, all right.
I think that's technically a state highway, Mr. Chairman. Isn't that 38? Isn't that still like part of
I
Route
don't know if it
38?
starts there or not, or does it start on the other side of,
I don't know, just,
what the hell's the name of the street? Not Nesmith. Yeah, Nesmith, on the other side of Nesmith. Does it start there?
that's true.
I think it does, yeah. Don't you remember the old rule, you don't challenge the chairman, don't you? Anyways, so back to, okay, I just wanted to understand what that meant. That's the way I read it, and then I was like, that's like putting another burden of 2 spots, but I understand what you're saying. Okay, so back to that curb cut, you have to have a curb cut done, correct?
Yeah,
Then the city responded and said, if you do the curb cut, part of the permit to open that up, do we need that at all as far as that? That's something that's gonna happen automatically, right?
She needs to file for, or apply for a driveway permit through the engineer's
Correct,
office.
that's how it'll get captured there.
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right, so we beat that to death, that's good. Okay, as far as the corner on Parkview and Andover, where a couple of the board members were talking about, the old plans had like 3 or 4 parking spots
4.
directly in. And we know that can't happen anymore because it doesn't meet the requirements. I'm not sure about if you can do the green space, like to Mike's point, without, knowing you seem to do a lot of work around there anyway, so you might maybe come up with some type of ideas, maybe how you can just kind of brighten it up a little bit on that corner. And as far as the parking, people shouldn't be pulling in there because there's a curb there anyways, right? It's kind of recessed, but there is a curb. So there shouldn't be any people, including yourself, parking on your property. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
yes, I
On the side? Okay. But I know there's parking on the side street. So you do have that capability of doing that. So I don't, as far as a condition on the green space, I probably agree with Mike, even though Sean, I know they talked about it in the write-up. I don't know, maybe you can do some planters or something along the side of the house just to kind of brighten it up, you know what I mean? You'll get creative, I'm sure you will.
I mean,
Yep.
I tend to agree with you on that. I understand it's going to be a hardship financially for you, probably. I mean, my concern obviously being I don't want more cars. I mean,
Right.
it all seems awful not if we don't prevent cars from driving up there and stopping.
Well, I
So
think
that's
you
why.
have to enforce that yourself. You can't allow any cars up there, because I'll tell you what's gonna happen, if you start allowing cars, including your own, the city's gonna come by and you're gonna get ticketed.
Yeah, I understand.
trouble.
Yeah, I
Okay.
understand. Yeah, no.
Yep.
We already park on the street,
Yeah.
and
No, I'm not saying
we'll
you're
just have
doing it. Yep.
more space than in the street.
Okay. So, in the write-up the city gave us, there's quite a few things here around variances because of the parking. That seems to be the major driver of why you're here. So, Patrick, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, so we need dimensional relief for those 2 new parking spots we're putting in there, correct?
Correct, under 6110.
Yep. And then, there's the setback requirements for both the side yard and from the building, I believe that was in there, or was that all
No,
captured?
so there's no side yard setback requirements because it's a mixed use. And in our zoning code, we don't require, there was only, if it's a mixed use building, the only requirement is that there's an FAR for max FAR, which she doesn't
Okay,
exceed.
so we don't need a variance for the setbacks from the buildings?
Are you talking about the driveways or just the building itself?
Well, it says additionally, the applicant will need a variance for setbacks from buildings, which is 5 feet in the
So
UN.
that's referring to the driveway, the 2 parking spaces from the building.
Yeah,
There's a
that's what I'm-
5-foot,
That's what I'm
sorry.
talking about.
there's a 5-foot setback from the building, yes.
Yeah.
So that's what she needs the setback variance for.
Right, that's another variance. I'm just talking about those 2 spots.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
triggered this whole thing,
Yep.
right? Okay. And then, so you're gonna have two parking spots, new parking spots. And I guess the placard is for, well, it's for the building, so you actually have 3. You'd have 3 out of 5 that's required, is that correct? Okay, so the relief that we're looking for is for 2 parking spots, right? I want to make sure I get this correct.
Exactly.
Which I believe, at least I'm gonna approve it this way.
Well, actually, I just think you can't technically count the placard as a space, in terms of like how many spaces you provide.
Okay.
So like you can acknowledge it and we give them out, but it doesn't count as when we require parking, we don't count the placard space.
So it's kind of like Walker Street. They had 3 on site, and then they had the placard for 1.
Right.
I'm not
So
making
it's,
the 2 the
you know,
same, but
brought into your
I'm not
consideration.
arguing with you, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying, yep.
I just
But-
want to make that clear for
But to
the record.
support the 2, I know at least they have another one
Right,
that we know we can't consider, but,
Right.
so I guess if we want to get technical, there's 3 parking, variance for 3 parking spots, correct? All right, which, you know, I believe if you look at because it's a corner lot, and the way that side street is shaped, I know the sidewalk is kind of juggles out there, and then if we look at the size and shape of the lot and what's currently there and prior uses that have been on that lot, I believe we can meet the variance prerequisites through the size and shape of the lot, so we can, at least I'm gonna vote this way, we can cover ourselves for the 3 parking spaces that you're deficient, but we'll carry it through with the variance. I think that's all I have. I think overall, I know the city even mentioned this, the transportation engineer and the city engineer pretty much support, based on their review, they did have their comments, but they would support, you know, granting the variance for the way the size and the shape of the lot are, and some of the past history on the site. Does anybody have any other questions or comments or additions, subtractions?
Mr. Chairman, as part of the condition, I think we have to add in, I believe, don't we have to add in that we have to, we're accepting the site plan, the revised site plan from 7.5 that shows
Yep.
only 2 spaces.
I also have a comment. I think we should make a effort to have green space on that corner. And I think that the work being done with the new parking spaces, where we're removing green space from that side, there's already a contractor on site to easily remove that broken up pavement and take the, fill the green space on that side where you're taking the new parking space and bring it over and just grass that area or landscape it or whatever you want. It's, the amount of work being done on the site is a lot already, and that green space would be wonderful to get on that corner, just as a opportunity for more infiltration for the site, for water, as well as beautification for the corner. So whether it's raised planters, whatever it is, I think that it's a great opportunity.
Okay.
Do you understand what we're talking about?
To take it out, all the pave and put green space, right? If I'm right.
Right, but I just want to make sure you understand what we're asking. Okay?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. No, I agree with both you and Sean. I'm not saying we don't need it. That's why I was suggesting maybe the planners or something, just to, and I have faith in my petitioner here that she can brighten up that corner spot there. Well, if you're going to operate a little business out of there, you might want to brighten it up, you know what I mean? Attract some more people. All right, anybody else? So we have for conditions, there's the green space plans. And then Sean mentioned the new site plan that was presented, dated 7/5.
Mr. Chairman, and I believe Member Paglia mentioned this at the last meeting, maybe an administrative review in 6 months. Is that possible, just to kind of see where we're at, making sure people aren't parking at that, on that site, and see how things are going to be working out as far as green space is concerned with regards to working with the city of that. Maybe that's something that...
Okay. So what the board members are suggesting we do is, once you get approvals on everything, and once you get up and running, then there'll be a 6-month administrative review. That's just to ensure there hasn't been any issues at
Okay.
the site, okay?
It's okay.
I mean, it's a good thing, because, if there's nothing going on, then you're all set to go,
Okay.
all right? And if there is any little issues, it can be addressed, okay?
Okay.
All right.
And Mr. Chairman, excuse me, does the applicant have to return for the administrative review?
Generally, we don't have them return. We should get some type of either communication, probably from your office, if there's been, well, first of all, a quick note that says 6 months is up. Nothing's been reported by any departments, and that's all we really need.
Sure.
If something is reflected even during those 6 months, then we'd probably request the applicant come back in and we talk about it. Okay. Any other comments? Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Just a quick comment, Mr. Chairman. I just want you to know again that I know I speak for myself. I appreciate you taking the extra steps to meet with the planning office, as I said earlier. And I also just wanted to mention, I know that there are a lot of residential and commercial properties in that area that aren't necessarily conforming, a lot of non-conforming properties. And if any of those were to come up in the future before this board, we would, put them through the same sort of level of scrutiny that we did with yours. It's just that until another business or residential property in that area comes to us, we're not an enforcement body, so we're not going to go out and, tell the hair salon next door that they can't park on the sidewalk. But if they came, so I didn't want you to think that you were, singled out a month ago. We just wanted to make sure that everything worked for your application. So,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Patrick, is there anything we're missing or should address before we go forward? Do you have any comments?
No.
Okay, yep. All right, so I guess we have some, multiple variances. How do we want to handle these variances? Do we just want to put them all under one umbrella, and what's your suggestion, Patrick?
My suggestion would be the variance for parking, and then a variance for the under 6110, which is the size of the parking, because she has 8 feet and technically required is 9. And then under that same section is the distance of the spaces from the building. So I think you can.
Yeah, so I pretty
envelope.
much had covered those, correct, when I was kind
Yeah,
of
so
walking
that's a
through them?
variance under 6110 and then a variance for parking. Can be,
All right, so let me give my friend Van a second here. So is it 6.10, and do we have to mention the 6.14 or not? That's the, that covers the table of parking requirements,
Yeah,
right?
so that's
We've
just
already
the
got that
parking.
captured, right?
Yeah.
So it's just the 6.10, or do we need both? I'm sorry.
So 6110 for like the
Yep.
dimensional things, and then
Okay.
614 for just the parking variance in
Okay,
general.
yep. And do you have? All right, so could I have a motion, please, for the variances?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the matter before us, ZB-2017-25, a variance. The applicant is Soraya Martins. The property located at 157 to 159 Andover Street. The petitioner is seeking parking relief for a property located at 157 to 159 Andover Street. The proposed project consists of adding a salon to a two-family residential dwelling in the urban mixed-use zoning district. The project requires a variance under section 6.1 and another relief required by the City of Lowell zoning ordinance with the following condition. Condition 6.110, and a variance for parking, and a condition to accept the revised site plan dated on 7/5/17, and the addition of the green space plan and the administrative review after 6 months. Also, the 6.4, in addition to the 6.110. 6.14.
Have a second, please?
Second.
Roll call.
Member Bailey?
Approved with conditions.
Member Peck?
Approved conditions.
Member Palia?
Approved with conditions.
Callahan?
Approve with conditions.
Member McCarthy?
Approve with conditions.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've been approved. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Work hard, all right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Yep.
Good evening.
Good
all
luck.
of you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to other business, we have the minutes from the June 26, 2017 meeting. Any comments by any of the board members? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the minutes for June 26,
2017.
2017.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Bailey?
Approved.
Member Peck?
Approve.
Member Palia?
Approved.
Member Callahan?
Approved.
Member McCarthy?
Approve.
Okay, so next meeting in 2 weeks, right, Patrick?
Yes, July 26th.
Okay, what do we have, 5 or 6?
24th, sorry. So there's six.
6, okay, so sleeping blankets and pillows.
Yes.
And food and provisions as well.
Can we cook s'mores? Is that possible?
losing control. All right, do you have any handouts this evening?
I do not.
Okay, all right. Are all 6 of those at least have some information posted on the site to date or not?
Oh, like a request for permit sign? Or just, like,
For the 6 that are coming up, is there something posted for each of them on the site? Any information at all, or?
I believe on the website, you mean?
Yeah,
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
It's posted.
yeah, because that's open to the public, right? Anybody can go out there. Yep.
Correct.
All right, anybody got anything? Nope. Okay. So could I have a motion to adjourn?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
So moved.